what I was telling y'all earlier, that the ISO, the aperture, and your shutter speed are kind of 2-in-1 with the pre-settings on your camera, okay? So all of these are going to automatically determine your ISO, which is how much light it's going to let in, your aperture, which is your f-stop, your depth of field, and what's clear, and then your shutter speed is how fast that shutter clicks per second. So in here you have the portrait mode. So, and what we'll do is then we'll go and we'll practice using those modes on the same subject and see what the difference is, because it will show you on your screen what your settings are. So right now it's in portrait, so it's 1/60th of a second. That's my shutter speed. My f-stop or my aperture is 4.2. So see what that is that means that the eye, like the iris of this is wide. So it's gonna let a lot of light in, and then the ISO is set at 800. So that's what it automatically is doing. Okay, so then you go into this is landscape mode. See the mountains?
And there's a flower. Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah, so like if you were in Colorado, that's what you would do to get a whole landscape. And what it's gonna probably do, yeah, it's gonna have a little bit lower shutter speed, and now it has the ISO. So once you do this, taking different pictures, that's the best way to figure out what each one does and what the benefit is of using that. And what I encourage y'all to do is, as you go back and review your files or review your images, is to pay attention to the f-stop, because that is just knowledge that the more you hear it, the more you'll understand it, and the more you understand it, the better your composition of your pictures is going to be. So we've got that. We've got the sports mode, which is going to make you have a really fast shutter speed. See, it went up to 1/500th. See, and do you hear how it'll click more too, because it's able to close and open faster. This is for like a flower, almost like a macro.
A close-up?
Yeah, a close-up. And then this here, with the star in it, that is for a nighttime photo.
Night portrait.
Night portrait. And it
illuminates night scenes in the background.
And it will tell you on your screen, yours does.
Yeah, mine does. Whoa.
It'll tell you when you go back to review.
So that's like basically like nighttime.
Yeah.
One that you use like in dark pictures.
Yes.
Like you're taking a picture of like the sky.
Right.
And like the stars.
And a lot of times with that, at night, the shutter's going to go so slow because it's trying to absorb all of that light, that's why people use tripods at night. Or you have to have it stationary, because you can't, even if you think you're holding it still, you always have a little bit of shake when you're holding your camera. So that's what. Now here in manual, we'll go into that later, maybe in phase 2. But you have P, which is basically sets everything. I think we've talked about this before, but the P sets everything automatically. The only difference is that allows you to control your flash.
Yeah. So that's all the modes?
Well, and then we've got shutter speed. If you just want to control your shutter speed, it'll determine everything else. That's S. A is aperture. That means you control the aperture, and the camera determines everything else.
So if we have it on S, it'll take the pictures faster?
Well, yes. And if you want it to go faster, you can roll it up. And so basically, the P, S, A, and then M is for manual. It's like a step up you know, like a little bit more advanced. So these are for the basic, learning how to use your camera, how to work your camera, how to take good pictures. Then as you get better, you can start fiddling with adjusting your shutter speed. And the best way to do that is to practice, to get somebody to run.